He's a man of many talents. He's invested completely in fitness, health, body, and mind. Full of value, heaps of information. Best all-round body, Kyle Raggio.
Thank you, thank you. It's a funny question because I think if you asked any bodybuilder and they said no, they'd be lying.
I read my affirmations. I've got my own handwritten affirmations.
Love it.
And then I look at my vision board.
Love
I
it.
look at my vision board and I go through my vision board and I look at a few things on it. And
The fact that I'm competing, right? So a lot of those rituals and routines kind of help me just set up my day around that. I tried it on her years ago and she shut me down. And then I was like, okay, whatever, no worries. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've trained traps in the last 15 years. So no.
He's a man of many talents. He's confident, which I like and a favorite trait of mine. He's a good guy, seemingly invested in all and everything he does. He's invested completely in fitness, health, body, and mind. Full of value, heaps of information. Seems to want to give more than he receives. I personally think best all-round body, symmetrically, mass, definition, looks healthy, strong, a winning body in my eyes, but you're not my type. But please welcome Kyle Raggio.
Thank you, thank you.
How are you, mate?
Very well, how are you?
Very good. Welcome to season 2, episode 3. How are you? How's sunny Gold Coast?
Sunny and warm.
Yeah.
Very.
Obviously, off air, we're talking a little bit, but you've said you just moved there. Tell us why.
To be honest, it was a bit of a long decision. We'd kind of wanted to do it for a little while. We had a gym in Sydney for about 3.5, 4 years, and sort of made the decision to sell that and move our business online.
Oh, okay.
And this being the online fitness capital of Australia, we thought, why not come and be immersed in the industry and just go all guns blazing and enjoy the lifestyle, to be honest.
So what you're telling me is every gym there hasn't got only equipment for training; they've got tripods ready for your phone.
Well, okay, so let me tell you this: it is literally, it may as well be illegal to film content in gyms here. You're not allowed to do it anywhere.
What do you mean?
It's ridiculous. Like, we moved here under the assumption that this is like the fitness capital of the world. Everyone's going to be filming content. It's going to be so good. You cannot film at any gym.
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy.
Oh, they tricked us, mate. They tricked you. How do they do it? It's all illegal up there, but everything's illegal in Queensland.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. All right, look, let's... quickly, sorry. I just want to know, where did you have your gym? Where'd you have your gym?
Funny story. It was in Randwick, and I believe it was next door to a gym that a really old bodybuilder owned. John told me about it.
Yeah.
It'll come to me. Apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger trained there.
Randwick, Arnold Schwarzenegger trained there. Oh, God. Arnold Schwarzenegger trained there everywhere with John.
Exactly.
Okay, and so you're a Sydney boy? Have you always been a Sydney boy?
No, so I originally grew up on the central coast of New South Wales and then sort of moved to Sydney after I finished high school and then just kind of flip-flopped between Newcastle and Sydney at uni and yeah.
Okay, well, I've got a question on that one. So let's go with confidence. Are you a confident guy? You seem very confident when you speak. Are you a confident guy?
Look, I mean, to be honest, I think it was a learnt trait.
Yep.
Growing up, I was always, cliched, the skinny kid at school. And I think, going to the gym and getting bigger and getting stronger was a way of improving my confidence. And I think in the way I viewed it anyway, being stronger, being bigger allowed me to be more confident in my own abilities and, to just put myself out there a little bit more, I think, in that perspective.
Okay, all right. Well, and also, do you understand the power of giving? You seem to like to give a lot. I've noticed on your content. You're very thorough in what you do. You kind of don't no stones unturned. You know, like I said, you're quite, and because you're thorough, you come across as confident, which in some ways, forgive me if I say that, when I sound confident, I sometimes sound arrogant. You know what I mean? Do you ever get that?
Not really. I think like in the things that I do, the things that I say, like it comes from a place of being really genuine because I
can tell, yeah.
I actually give a shit and I care about what I'm talking about and I'm really passionate about it. So I think for me, it's kind of second nature.
All right, so giving, second nature, confidence. And this one's a beauty. Do you love yourself? The reason I say love your body. Do you think are you happy with yourself? That's the question. If I'm saying, like, you have to love yourself to love someone else. So let's just get a bit like soft here. But what I'm asking is, yeah, do you like you come across to me like a bit of swagger. I like your style. As a guy I think I'd hang out with. You know what I mean? So yeah, do you love yourself? Love your body?
It's a funny question because I think if you asked any bodybuilder and they said no, they'd be lying.
For sure.
So I think from the perspective of, yeah, absolutely. Like I think you have to love yourself first to be able to love and to give to others. And I think having my beautiful fiance here, like I wouldn't be able to love her and give to her as much as I can or do if I didn't, love myself enough or value myself enough.
Well, maybe you can elaborate a little bit more for people out there. What is loving yourself? What do you think that is, since you're a mind, power, body kind of guy?
Yeah, look, this is something that I've really delved into a lot, like over the last couple of years, just more in terms of being, I suppose the term I'll use is self-aware. So being self-aware of, your own circumstances, your own outcomes, your own life. And then even for me personally, like something that I practice daily is just like gratitude, affirmations, like breath work, meditation, like without getting too woo-woo.
Yeah.
I think it really pays dividends, especially as a bodybuilder when at the end of the day, it's kind of a lone endeavor at some stage. You're the one suffering and dieting, so you kind of have to be mentally tough here and you have to kind of go to those special places. And I feel a lot of those habits and rituals that I put in place help me kind of do that.
So do you have rituals and habits every day? Do you have them in the morning?
Absolutely.
You want to share some with me? I'll share mine first. How about I share first?
Go.
So I look at rituals and habits like this. So let's say you're a soldier and there's a war going on outside your door. Right?
Yep.
There's a war. The first thing you do is you put your camouflage on. You put your sack or your bag over yourself, which has got some artillery stuff, maybe some food in there, some water, and then your gun is kind of already set up and ready. And then you're ready to walk out that door. I think to me, rituals and habits is that. If you don't do it before you walk out that door, how do you face, let's call it the battle of life out there. But so for me, what I do is and the great thing is, I'm just going to let you know, my psychologist told me once, what happens if you forget to do your rituals and habits? Are you okay? And that was a smart one. And I said, yeah, but like everything, the more you do it, like the more the times you eat breakfast, you can skip breakfast because you've had enough breakfast. So having said that, mine is I usually get down on my knees and I do gratefuls. So I sit there and I'll talk about my last 24 hours, which will probably be mentioned tomorrow morning. So Chris will probably be mentioned tomorrow morning and a few others, obviously. And all the gratefuls, from money to clothing to food to you name it, everything is grateful for. Maybe a little bit of kind of call it prayers. Then I read my affirmations. I've got my own handwritten affirmations.
Love it.
And then I look at my vision board.
Love it.
I look at my vision board and I go through my vision board and I look at a few things on it and think to myself, when is that private jet coming? And also,
I'm waiting.
No, I'm waiting. When's the overnight success? But the thing is, and also, but I do have things like a person smiling on there, so it reminds me to smile. I have also a few words on there, so it's not just about the private jet, which, we're waiting for that. It'll come. Me and Chris are already planning. We've got our tickets. We just don't have a plane.
Waiting for the universe to deliver.
Yeah, what about yours?
Yeah, I mean, look, so I guess for me, like a lot of it ties into the fact that I'm competing, right? So a lot of those rituals and routines kind of help me just set up my day around that. So for me, my day starts at 4:30. My alarm goes off at 4:30.
Wow, how's that?
Fantastic. I've been doing it forever.
Okay, keep going.
I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I do my morning check-in. So I do my scale weight, I do my blood pressure. I go and drink about 500 mils of water.
Yeah.
And then part of my sort of morning routine is I'll do some breath work. So I do some breathing drills, some vacuum holds. I do about 5 minutes of mobility.
Right.
I go and make myself a coffee. I write in my little journal. I do my daily gratitude and affirmations. And then I'll read I sort of aim to read a chapter of whatever book I'm reading for that month.
I've got a question on that one later, but we won't answer
Oh,
that right
yeah.
now. But the E-Myth Revisited.
The book.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
And then after I finish reading, I go and do my cardio. So at the moment, it's just 20 minutes first thing in the morning. And then from there, it's kind of, shower, breakfast, get stuck into the day.
Mate, it sounds like the best morning. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Am I saying your surname right, Raggio?
Exactly.
Raggio. Surname. Where does that come from? Did your parents not finish off your first name? Why is it cold? So what's going on?
So according to my grandfather, we were of Italian descent many generations ago. But my dad, my grandparents, my great-grandparents are all Spanish. So I think...
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, they moved sometime at some stage in life.
Yeah, okay.
And my first name, I have no idea. I've never met another Kyle without an E, so it's news to me.
Well, yeah, it is. Well, when I saw it, obviously jokingly. My son's name is Yanni, and I personally spelt it Y-A-N-I. So it's spelt the way I wanted to spell it, right? And the funniest thing is an old Greek, very smart, very intelligent financial minister in Greece. He eventually ran the country for a little while. He spelt it the same way, Y-A-N-I, and I went like, what the? And he's a pretty cool guy, rides motorbikes like I do. So
avoids confusion.
Okay, so yeah, I know, it's quite funny. All right, so we know your parents couldn't finish it off with the E for some reason. Now, we'll blame the Italians for that because
Exactly.
I have a personal problem with Italians. But anyway, we won't go on with that one. But I don't. Oh, I do actually. So where you from? You said mid Central Coast. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep. And tell us something that no one knows that you'd be happy to share with us today. I'll just let you know, our last guest told us how he loved mushrooms. Now, we're not talking about pepperoni mushrooms, which I thought so at the beginning, but it's more of the psychedelic mushroom stuff. And we went on about that for a little while. So is there anything you want to share? And if you want to tell your girlfriend to leave, because she shouldn't know this, by all means, just me and you, mate. There's not me and Chris.
I feel like I might have to circle back to that one. I feel like I have to give it some thought.
Oh, do you? All right. How about we circle back? Chris, remind me that question about what he wants to share with us, all right? Because he thinks he's going to get away with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to kick the can down the road.
Before we go to some more of the questions, what did you do prior to bodybuilding? What were your studies, profession, accolades? How did you survive?
Yeah, well, totally worlds apart, to be honest.
Yeah.
I finished high school and I was actually at university studying to become a science teacher.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And just always kind of like, I love training. Like I said, I was the skinny kid at school. I played football and decided to put on some size and be able to play football and not get injured, and just kind of enjoyed training in that aspect. And then went to uni, was studying to become a science teacher, typical living on meagering noodles and takeaway food and drinking.
That's not good for training, but go on. Yes.
And just kind of got really fat, to be honest, at uni. And
well, welcome to my world right now.
And ended up just, I don't even know how I met him. He ended up becoming a really good friend of mine. He was an ex-Mr. World natural bodybuilder. He prepped me for a comp, and it was just like, I ended up deferring my uni degree, went and did my certificates for fitness, and started from there, basically.
Okay, so what was your journey like in that, since you started quite early? Because you're telling me, how old are you, by the way?
32.
32, okay. And so obviously early teens, 20s, so you've obviously started the fitness world very early. What was your early days like? What were you like? What were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, busy, to be honest. I was actually studying in the CBD in Sydney. I was living on the Central Coast at that point, and I was managing a supplement store during the day and PTing morning and night.
Okay, as you do.
So
As you do.
working like 2 or 3 jobs, traveling 2 hours a day and training in between there somewhere. I actually did a comp at that point as well, so don't ask me how I did it.
It just dawned on me to share with you as well myself. Do you know, actually, I was a qualified personal trainer.
Yeah?
I did, I think they still do it there. It was at St. Leonard's. It was, I don't know if it was the FAI or IAF, whatever they are.
God, they're all the same, aren't they?
They were
AIF,
the same,
IAF.
yeah. The funniest was, it was only, I didn't even think it was a week's course. And if I told you, it was $500.
Oh, yeah.
But back then,
Yeah.
it was crazy. It was crazy. There was nothing, it was different to now, obviously. But, and to be honest, I didn't see, look, I'm 54, but I didn't see the seriousness I was in IT as well. So I was studying IT. And I was not studying, I was working in IT. And so, I don't know, I just didn't take it very seriously. And you didn't see personal trainers everywhere. They didn't seem that busy. And most of the ones that were personal training were very much bodybuilders that did it full time and so trained people on the side. So they were the type that were the personal trainers. It wasn't like, retired a mum that's her kids have just gone to school and she decides to be a personal trainer now. It was never like that. Most of the personal trainers looked like personal trainers back then. They were big guys.
Yep.
It was just a whole different. And back then I remember going to City Gym. City Gym was probably the only one that really had personal trainers there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was quite. And like I said, our days were. I could tell you some stories about training back then. It was never about what you wore. Actually, you never saw your body. The only time you ever saw what you looked like was in the change rooms with your mates when you pulled off your sloppy Joe. So we'd pull off hoodies and we'd show off, and then the hoodies went back on, and that was 365 days in the year. That's how we dressed. It was like you didn't show off. I don't know what it was about. Big tracksuits and just sweat your ass off. So it was quite interesting. So let's get straight to it. Last comp. Firstly, well done.
Thank you.
Like I said, you were a standout to me. I really, thought you had $1 million smile. Your body looked amazing. You looked full. Your quads look amazing. And I do like good legs because I got big legs myself. So tell me, bud, how was it? How did you go firstly? How did you feel you went?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a bit of a weird one, to be honest. Like, I had been planning this comp like a year in advance.
Yes.
And just had so much happening in life that it was, like, I won't say I wasn't thinking about it too much, but it was kind of just there, and it felt like a job that I had to get done.
Right.
Which I think for me was really good because there was no pressure. I was just going in with, the assumption that I'd worked my ass off. I'd done everything that I possibly could to bring my best. And the rest was up to the judges, and I just had to turn up and do my job.
Well, and tell us, what's it like training for it, like Christmas and New Year, the holiday fun times? I mean, that's hard in itself. Like, I'm thinking to myself, if forget about training, the sacrifices. You go to a party, you're invited to all these great parties and the late nights and the sunsets on, like daylight saving. That's Sydney, that is. But how did you cope mentally?
You know what? Like, it's funny. I actually don't care. Like, I don't drink. I don't eat shit. I don't do any of that stuff. Like, my whole life has kind of been built around fitness and bodybuilding and health. So for me, it was difficult. We had, we started prep in October. We had a week away at Christmas with my family. It's just, again, like, it's the job that I've chosen to do, and that's what's necessary to get that job done. So I just kind of don't care.
Okay. And you mentioned you don't drink. Have you always been a non-drinker, or when did that start?
Yeah, I mean, to give you some context, where I grew up, very small town, there was nothing to do except either train and, be into surfing, I guess just stay active, or drink and do drugs. And 50% of the people we went to school with chose the drugs and the drinking and, ended up in jail and all this kind of stuff. And for me, it was my best mate who, we're still best mates to this day.
Oh, good.
We chose the health and fitness path. We had a gym in our garage and we just trained 7 days a week and didn't drink, didn't party.
Anyway, you're only 32, mate. You still got another 20 years to catch up to my drinking, but that's another story. No, I get it. Like, you got no idea. I used to go to Christmas parties. I used to work for HSBC.
Yeah.
And you don't understand. We'd have magicians. We'd have bands. We'd have everything was free. And I wouldn't go and drink. I mean, I think to myself, I was really, like I said, I can understand, like the mentality or the mindset you got, especially at a young age. But just keep it up. You're doing a great job, by the way.
I appreciate it.
All right, so you're going to compete again in season B. Apparently, this is later this year.
Yeah.
Why? Like, what outcome are you looking for? How is the? Tell us about the intermission pro. Like, you've gone and done a comp, right?
Yep.
You're going for a comp. There's a little bit, I don't call it tools down, but there's a little intermission going on right now. So tell us that story now, going from you competed, you had how long did you relax or you didn't relax?
No days off.
All right, no days off, okay.
Yeah, look, I think so. Again, to kind of give everyone an idea, like this last prep was sort of a year in the making, and the last time I competed was, I think, 3 years prior to that. So I had no expectation going into this thing. And then I think by the time that I'd done the first show, won my class, won the overall, saw the rest of the competitor, I was like, oh shit, like I'm actually really competitive.
Yeah.
Then to go on to that second show, which was it's a pro qualifying show, to win it again and narrowly miss out on a pro card, I was like,
I know. Yeah.
okay, like there's something here now. So for me, it was like going into this next comp, I want that pro card. I want to be overseas competing as a pro next year. Like, I'm going all in.
I can, I guess what works in your favor then is if you were a little bit laxed, meaning you had a lot of things said, you said a lot of things going on, so you didn't feel the pressure. I can only imagine if you notched it up a tad, and maybe this is what you're doing now. Maybe you're going to notch it up a tad. I suppose you kind of know what you turned up with, and you're already probably dissecting what you need to tweak, I guess. Is that right?
Exactly. I think more like now that I know exactly what I need to do to be where I want to be, it's like, okay, there's no stone unturned for this prep now.
Wow. Well, we won't give away secrets because you want to win. So let's not tell everyone your secrets.
Exactly.
All right. Do you still want to tell us anything that no one else knows that you want your girlfriend to leave, or do you still want to wait for that?
I'll save that till the end.
Oh, Chris, I got a feeling this guy ain't going to answer that question.
Keep my stellar reputation intact.
Come on, mate. It's all pretty good at the moment. Jesus Christ. Even I've misinterpreted you a million times, so don't worry about that. So you mentioned about pro cards. So yeah, my question was, do you want to be a professional bodybuilder, compete at the highest level, reach Olympia? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so again, like I'm very big on setting goals. And for me, like my 3-year goal was to be at the Olympia competing at the highest level. And I think getting my pro card is that first step there. So if I can knock that off in October, it means that it gives me 12 months to spend the time to put on the muscle that I need to be competitive as a pro. And then I'm there, man. That's my goal.
Wow. So all right. So we know. So what is out of all the comps that are there, what do you want to compete in? What's going to be your niche?
As in what class?
Yeah. Like, are you going to go classic?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Classic.
So like obviously I did classic for this last one.
That's right. I just want to know, just in case something's changed.
Yeah, no. So I think that the interesting thing is, and it's quite tricky, obviously, as an amateur, the weight cap for a classic for my height is very low. So the thought process behind it for me is to go pro. My weight cap ends up coming up about 5 kilos. So I've got plenty of room to play with and to grow as well.
How tall are you?
So, according to them, I was 175, which is the cutoff for my height.
What's that? What's that? Please tell me. In foot.
I think 5'9", maybe 5'8".
Okay.
No idea.
Well, you look pretty tall on stage. Not to say you're short. I'm just saying you look pretty tall. Can I also let me thank you firstly for posing in fitted, looking good, comfortable underwear. Bloody, what the fuck is with everyone when they do these poses on social media in their underwear, and their underwear looks like it's 10 years old,
Disgusting.
or like at least I think you might have you thought it out before you go into your underwear shots, because
Of course.
I looked at him and I said, thank God this guy looks like he's wearing fitted jocks, that he looks respectable. I see bodybuilders pull down their pants, and I'm thinking like, mate, did you pinch those off your grandmother?
Yeah. I mean, I've always got to make sure they got a fresh pair of Calvins handy, make sure they look good.
Yeah, of course, man. Jesus Christ, I got to thank you for that. I mean, Jesus Christ. So you know what you're doing. So you're already ready when you're ready
Of
to pull down your
course.
jaw. You got a spare pair of Calvins.
Nothing's left to chance.
Good on you, mate. That's no wonder. You know what you're doing. Jesus Christ. Okay, your latest post. Power of community. Mm-hmm. Getting things done as a collective. The power behind that. All right. And obviously, they were your words. And the 3 pillars, you called it structure, accountability, and support. All right. Tell us more.
Yeah, so I think it's more a case of what I lacked maybe early on in my fitness career, or the things that I wanted to help me get to that next level. And it's something that I've really put in place now with my coaching community. So just the team that Gabby and I both have that we coach, really spending a lot of time like educating them, upskilling them, and just building a community that people feel comfortable to share training videos, to ask questions, to ask for advice. And even from my perspective as a coach, is like I get tons of value giving away my information. So I want to see those guys succeed.
All right. So when you speak about community, I guess you're not only just talking about yourself, but so structure, accountability, and support. All right. So how do you see structure? What's structure to you?
Well, I guess in the context of what we do, it's providing a tangible framework to achieve a result. So the majority of the conversations I have with people is, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to achieve the goal that I want to, achieve. And for me, it's kind of like, all right, I've got the tools, the framework, the blueprint for you to follow. Here is the structure. Go and do it. Let me keep you accountable.
Okay. All right. And now accountability, is that on them? You're saying now?
I think it's a bipartisan agreement. So accountability, them coming to the table, doing the work, checking in, and then me kicking them up the arse when they don't do it and praising them when they do it well.
Okay, good. And obviously that means the support, the last bit, which is support.
Yeah, and that's just having the support system in place to be able to nurture and foster those relationships.
Tell us about, I guess the positivity, seemingly positive outlook, the rules, the discipline. Where does it, what I interpret in you, watching you, with even your hack squats, and I could see at the end of it, I think I put a comment in, you sound like you just got off them because you were huffing and puffing. Yeah, so is that always been you? Is that kind of even as a kid, that thing, or you built it up?
Yeah, again, like I like to use everything, as an analogy for training, right? You put in the reps, so you do the work. So it was definitely something that just through life, through growing up, overcoming adversity, and for me, it was just kind of doing the reps and building up that resilience to be able to just always be positive and maintain that outlook, to kind of maintain control of the things that I can, and not stress too much about the things that I have no control over.
Okay. And who is Kyle right now? What I mean by that is, where do you build from? Like faith, or may it be the universe, Mother Nature, energy? Like, where do you build from?
I think for me, it's probably more like I notice for myself now just maturity.
Maturity, okay.
I'm getting into my sort of early to mid 30s now, and for someone who's been involved in what I have been for the better part of a decade, it's kind of seeing the other side of that and having a lot of these realizations that, I might have missed or overlooked being younger. So I think it's just going into this next stage of my life with, a lot more clarity and a lot more understanding of like my direction and the things I want to do.
So I guess you're just maybe stopping for a moment, looking around you, just taking stock in a sense.
100%, yeah. Being more present.
Okay, more presence, good. Um, E-Myth book, revisited version copy. Do you read books? Are you heavily invested in motivational books, inspiration books? Do you have a favorite author, a favorite person that you like, that you tend to resonate around? Yeah, I'll tell you why. I read the E-Myth
Yeah.
20 odd years ago,
Wow.
and it was this. It was kind of like a herbalist.
Yeah.
I was first time I ever went into business, and I was struggling with it. Like I wasn't, I just couldn't back off. I didn't know how to. I was all in too much. Like I had a horse with blinkers, and she got me to read the E-Myth, and it was like that. I felt like that book was written for, like I was the actor in it. Like it was, just reading it. So, you said you like to read. Yeah, is it a good book? You're enjoying the E-Myth?
It's exactly the same situation as probably you went through. Like, I'm reading it now and I'm like, holy shit, like, I'm doing all of these things. Maybe I need to change something.
It's so true. Are they still talking about the lady that liked to bake pies? Is the pie lady
Exactly.
still in there?
I'm the pie baker.
That pie baker's still in there. Is there any other books? Is there any other books you like, you want to recommend out there?
Yeah, so I mean, like even for me, I'm massive into personal development, and I think I sort of look up to people that are in the position that I want to eventually be in, and kind of take their advice. So, probably one of my favorites. God, like How to Win Friends, Influence People.
Top books. Dale Carnegie, is that right? That's the book, yeah.
Yeah. Even
Chris read that book just recently.
a lot of books like Seth Godin about like This Is Marketing, Purple Cow, so how to stand out and how to market yourself differently. So very
Are you a
big.
good reader? Are you a good reader? You like reading?
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes back from the uni days as well, like reading science books.
Yeah, I'm the worst reader. I don't think the only book I've ever finished, which I keep mentioning every podcast, I think, was Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's the only book I ever completely finished. Other than that, every book I start, and you can tell how far I've gone because I've highlighted them with yellow, with highlighters.
And it just
I've got
stops.
highlighters go through the whole book. So it's very funny. What about mentors? Do you mentor anyone, or do you have a mentor? What's going on there?
Yeah, so from a me mentoring side of things, yeah, I've got sort of a lot of other personal trainers that I coach more in a mentoring capacity, and I take a lot of those guys on privately just as mentoring clients. And as mentors for me, like never really had any like formal mentors, but just always had like cool people around me that are doing cool shit that are happy to give advice. And I think it's, you know, part luck and part putting it out to the universe and attracting it.
Well, yeah, okay. So your circle of friends, people around you, people you associate with, do you find that very important? Like something, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to want to succeed and the circle around them? What would you say about their circle?
Get rid of as many shitty friends as you can.
It's a culling process, isn't it? Culling
Literally,
is
like
incredible.
I think that's probably, you know, to go back to your question about what does Kyle look like now and into the future.
Yeah.
I can probably count on one hand how many like really close friends that I have, and I think I'm always kind of looking for opportunities to kind of put myself in positions to meet cool people and have these
Me too.
discussions. And then my handful of friends that I can just count on to just listen and be there when I need it.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. I've been culling like crazy, but I think I think the great thing is when you do cull, it leaves room for some great people to come along, especially if you know what you're doing. So I think it does. And look, usually those that do stick around, they want to go with the journey. And the journey isn't a sideways journey. They like the growth.
Yeah.
You're growing, they want to come with growth. Usually the ones that don't want to hang around is because they don't want to come with you. Not that they don't like you, they just don't like what you're becoming, which is maybe successful, maybe whatever it is. So yeah, definitely you've got to learn that cull. Culling is an important part of life. So life with you. Firstly, I think is congratulations in order. I mean, am I misreading? Explaining love, relationships, achieving all. Are you engaged? Is this right? Is
Yes.
this what I read?
Yeah.
When did
So
that happen? He's
uh,
off the market, everyone. Everyone's off the market. Chris is off the market. Oh, Chris is not. You're not his type either.
sorry, sorry. Yeah, I mean, quite recently actually. So the whole
You're a fiance. You are a fiance.
literally, if it sounds weird to say.
It's hard to say it, isn't it, with a guy?
Well, I don't have a ring on, so it feels weird.
What? And your girl's already told 1 million people, hasn't she?
Yeah, of course.
Like on that, as soon as you said it in 1 hour, it's like you wish you got that many views on social media. The way she told everyone.
Dude, and it was like literally the next morning, like, oh, when's the wedding? What are you guys doing? I'm like, well, we just literally got engaged last night. Like, relax.
It's hilarious. Well, congratulations. Tell us.
Thank you.
Tell us. Well, not that I want to know about your partner. That's private. But what's it like? Is she go getter like you? What's that like? Because I know myself, or I know out there, you got to pick. I think you got to just be careful how you pick your partner, and it's not just about how they look, or I think it's kind of like. I think it's more like a fan. You want to know when they do something, you've got the flags up, and when they're doing something, you've got the flags up. So, tell me about that.
So, I mean, so Gabby and I have known each other honestly for like 10 years or more.
You got away with murder, but go on.
Yeah.
Maybe you can write a book on that.
Literally.
Maybe you can write a book about how to have a girlfriend for 10 years.
Well, I mean, so we weren't together. Like, we just kind of knew each other from around the traps. Like, we trained in the same gym. We had the same sort of circle of friends. And funny story, because she's 4 years younger than me. I tried it on her years ago, and she shut me down. And then I was like, okay, whatever, no worries. And
All right.
a few years later, she was a client of mine. Big no-no, obviously. And
Well, there you go. You got high on your own supply, but go on.
I know, dipping in the client pool, obviously.
Yeah, go on.
And then
Write a book about that too. You can write a book about that too.
yeah, and then we just kind of, we became really close. We ended up starting, we started dating, and here we are, almost 6 years later now, engaged and living happily.
Wonderful. So, such a long time. So obviously she's been a great support.
I wouldn't be able to do 99% of the shit I do every day without her support.
Well, I mean, I could see you can't even switch on a light. You got her to switch on the lights. I mean, I saw that. I don't know how you got to write a book on that too.
I can't function.
You got to organise a book there. Your last post says that you were leaving some breadcrumbs to what's to come up next. What's coming up next? Tell us. Or you can't tell us.
No, definitely, I can definitely share. So, I mean, it's a few things, obviously. We're always kind of looking for new ways to kind of share information and to put products out there to help people. And two sort of big ones that we're launching a new range of physique guidebooks. So basically walking people through an exact transformation process to be able to kind of set up their own diet, set up their own training plans, through our app, join our community, all that sort of fun stuff. And then the second one is, I think we spoke about this before we jumped on the podcast, was the training camp and the workshop, hopefully locking it in sort of mid to late August.
Wow. Well, make sure when we finish here, you plug everything. All right, we'll do one more plug.
Done.
Well, look, we're going to do the body, but again, do you want to share something with us that no one else knows? That you just something exclusive, or are we still kind of you haven't got anything for us?
I'm still waiting till the end. Maybe I'll drop a bomb.
You don't want to tell us. You don't want to tell us like you like dressing it up in drag or something like that. You don't want to tell us you like wearing fishnet stockings. It's kind of like a fetish of yours.
I practice my posing in high heels when no one's home.
Do you do the flick of the shoulder and the?
Of course. I wear Gabby's underwear too, just to make sure that the photos look good.
Chris, you know what's funny? Chris is going to edit that like you really do. Suddenly you're going to have 1.5 million views or none. One of the two. Okay, let's get with the body now. This is what the podcast is about as well. The second half, or coming towards the end now. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you a muscle, the whole body. All I want is one exercise. Now, that one exercise is maybe it's one of your favorites or something that you train with people. It could be something very exclusive you do. It doesn't really matter. It can be anything. It's not really. We're trying to just give people out there your take on an exercise for a certain body. What we want to know is how many reps and how many sets. Now, I know it could be every single exercise I ask you is the same, but we don't know when people jump on a podcast, when Chris edits this, we don't know when that's going to go out there. So at the end of the day, we might as well just make sure we allow those that are interested or are training and a bit in a plateau or they've given up and they want to come back. So let's start with the traps. Mate, there's been a lot of talk about doing traps, not doing traps. Do you train traps?
I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've trained traps in the last 15 years. So, no.
Are you joking? Wow. I'm the only one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think they get trained like indirectly doing a lot of other stuff. But yeah, training traps directly like shrugs and things like that, never.
So you're happy to skip that question? I'm happy to skip it.
Yeah, well, I mean, other than doing like deadlifts and rows and things like that where they get trained indirectly, yeah, I mean, I really don't see any need for it and I don't program it.
No, I'm happy with that. I'm happy. All right, let's talk about delts. Let's talk about re-delts.
Yep.
So what do you do for rears?
So probably the main exercise that I've had in rotation for the last 12 months now is literally like a dual pulley, knock the mic over, a dual pulley like rear delt fly.
Yeah, a lot of people doing that. Yeah, go on.
For me, I find rear delts take quite a beating with like high reps. I love to hit them with high reps.
So talk about your reps. How many reps?
So generally, most of my rear delt stuff will be in the like 15 to 25 rep range.
Wow, nice. Okay, that's good because we get a lot of people hating us on that. So that's perfect. That's going to definitely increase our views.
Yeah, 50 reps then. 50 reps.
How many sets?
So, I mean, for me, currently I'm hitting rear delts twice a week and I'm probably doing 3 working sets for 15 to 25 reps twice a week. So 6 total sets per week.
Okay, and what about front delts?
Again, like I don't really train them in isolation. It would be more like my main pressing movement would be like a Smith machine press or a dumbbell press.
So like a bit like an incline, but very inclined. Is that what you're trying to say to me? Just
exactly
for the people.
Exactly for the people. Very descriptive. So yeah, for me, front delts. Like I love my pressing, so I've sort of gotten in the rotation now, like the high incline Smith shoulder press. I'm a big fan of top set and back off sets. So for that one, I'm doing like a heavy top set of 6 to 10, and then 2 back down sets of 10 to 15.
Nice. And how many sets?
I'm doing 3 sets a week of shoulder pressing.
3 sets. All 3. That's it.
That's it.
See, I've got to say wrong, Chris. No wonder I've wondered. I've got to say wrong. Now tell me something. Is there a side delt?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. I must have missed it somewhere in the brief. So go with the side delt. Tell us about the side delt. What do you do for side delts?
So side delt is the one caveat to my low volume training approach. So I hammer my side delts. Typically, I'll hit them 2 to 3 times per week. And the way I like to structure it generally is undulating the reps. So sort of having like a low rep range, a medium rep range, and a really high rep range.
Okay. Rep-wise, if you told me, how do you do that? Well, like, how would you explain it for the people? Remember, where it's that person that is going like scratching their head with that. How would you break it down for them quickly?
Yeah. So to put it in a nutshell, it would be between 10 and 20 reps. So I might have maybe say, for example, on a Monday, I might hit lateral delts for 10 to 12. On a Wednesday, I might hit it for 12 to 15. And then on a Friday, I might hit it for 15 to 20.
And sets?
Lateral delts, I like a bit of volume there. So I'm probably like 10 to 15 working sets per week.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty good. Very good explanation. All right, let's talk about back. Let's talk about, I guess, the upper back.
Yep.
What do you do for that? Exercise, sets, reps, and set.
Yeah, so again, like the way I sort of look at the back is I'll hit back typically twice per week, and I'll have like a pull workout that's focused on horizontal pulling, so like upper back and back thickness. And then I'll have a secondary workout where I'm more like vertical pulling, which is lat focused, pull down, chin up variations.
Okay. And do you, yeah.
I guess sets and reps, like for what I'll generally call like my meat and potato movements, so my main compounds.
Yeah.
I'm doing like an incline chest supported row, so it's like an incline lever row.
Right, I'm listening.
I think they have one at World's Gym. It's basically like a 45-degree row. It's got a chest pad. It's got the arms down by your side, and you pull the plate up towards your face, basically.
Okay, our World Gym has crazy stuff there, man. I've even heard you guys, or World Gym has donkey press.
Yeah, donkey calf
I haven't
raise,
seen
man.
it.
Come on.
I haven't seen a donkey press since the 90s, mate. What are you talking about? The 90s, that was incredible. And if we couldn't find a donkey press, we'd put someone on the back.
Of course.
You'd have your mates or girls on the back of you, and you'd be doing donkey press. So I'm surprised. Not many gyms have the donkey press machine anymore. So.
No.
So I think we did you say the sets and reps on that? Did you say for the back how many sets, reps? What did we say?
So for that, generally speaking, I'd sort of have like a heavy movement, and that would be in the 6 to 10 for maybe 3 to 4 working sets.
Okay, that's good.
And then I'd have more like an isolation movement, which I'd probably hit anywhere between 12 and 20 reps for, again, maybe 3 to 4 sets.
Wow, wonderful information. Thank you so much. There's so much there. What about lower back?
So lower back, again, I would train with more of my compound movements. So in my rotation at the moment, I've got like Romanian deadlift, stiff leg deadlift variation. And I've got some 45-degree back extensions.
And what about sets, reps on that?
So for the RDL, again, that's generally my meat and potato movement. I'll hit that for sort of 6 to 10. 3 working sets. And then for the back extension, I'm doing like super high reps, like 20 to 30 reps for maybe 2 to 3 sets.
Wow, incredible. Really good. Like, you're quite unique in what you do everybody's quite unique, which is good to see. And like I said, I guess eventually when we speak to many, we'll probably all start to gather around what everyone kind of does, but it's amazing. Let's talk about chest. Now, upper chest, incline, that high end. What do you do for that?
So it's kind of hard to choose which exercise I prefer most. So I'll give you 2. Number 1 is probably like an incline dumbbell press.
Yep.
And I really love hitting that heavy. So that's sort of anywhere between like 6 and maybe 12 reps on the higher end.
Wow. Okay.
And my second one would be like an incline Smith machine press. And I really like doing this with a reverse band.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Tell me the sets and reps with those 2.
So with the incline dumbbell press, I'd probably go heavy, maybe 3 to 4 working sets in that 6 to 12 rep range.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, yes. Sets 3 to 4, right. But you said you do about 6 to 10. Is that correct? You're trying to pull maybe 8. Is that what I'm reading? I'm reading it's a failure, so it's quite heavy.
It's heavy, yeah. Like I think this week.
It's heavy if you go to 6, yeah.
This week I was doing, what did I do this week? Working sets, I got up to 57 kilo dumbbells for sets of 10 I got. And then for the incline Smith, I generally go a little bit higher, so it might be like 8 to 15.
Okay. And sets there, did we say 3 or 2?
Yeah, that one generally 2 to 3, because with the higher reps, it generally comes with a bit more of a fatigue cost.
Okay, well, let's go to the guns now. Oh, actually, no, wait a minute. That's chest itself. We were talking now chest, so let's go a little bit lower here. Mm-hmm. What else do you do for chest? That was the upper chest, which is you had so much to choose from. What about chest in itself?
I've recently become a big advocate of a lot of like machine-based pressing.
Okay. Yeah, like seated, push.
Exactly.
Is that right? Yeah.
So like any sort of, the two main ones that I'm using at the moment would be like a flat, either pin loaded or plate loaded chest press, and then a fly variation. So in this rotation, I'm doing like incline fly, but I'd sort of rotate between either like an incline fly or a seated flat fly or flat bench fly.
Okay, and again, reps and sets.
For the pressing, generally I keep that in that 6 to 10 range, the heavy stuff, and the flyers will be 15, 20, like really high rep metabolite work.
And sets.
Again, probably for the meat and potato pressing, 3 to 4 sets, and the more isolation stuff, maybe 2 to 3 max, towards the end of the workout.
Okay. Tell me something. Is there a center chest? I mean, John mentioned he was doing an exercise, close grip. Mm-hmm. Is that vertical? Is that vertical? Was that horizontal? Vertical? I don't know what it is. Is that vertical? Sorry, Magnuson. Vertical presses, lying down presses up close. What about that? Do you have a center chest exercise or not?
When you think about it logically, you have different fibers of the pecs. You've got sternal fibers, you've got costal fibers. So typically speaking, any sort of flying variation or anything that converges, yes, does bias different portions of the chest, which is why, generally speaking, I'll program some fly movements, some pressing movements, and maybe like a dip movement. So you do get you get a nice broad pool of exercises that train the majority of the chest.
Okay, all right. Well, I think I understand that you've basically got a wide range of movements, and we're only talking about one exercise, so I get it. What about the guns, the bicep? What's your favorite guns, the bicep exercise?
The gun, man. You know what? I am a massive advocate of the single arm preacher curl, either a machine or a dumbbell.
Oh, the preacher curls, single arm too.
I love it.
Yeah.
So bonus points if you can do the preacher curl sort of backwards, so you get you can lean on the horizontal, the 45-degree pad, and you drop your arm all the way down, so it's literally like from top to bottom.
Oh, are you talking about the other way around? Are you talking about the vertical drop?
So literally, instead of sitting on the seat and using the actual intended pad, flip around, lean on the pad, and put your arm down by the seat.
I'm tired just thinking about that one now. That's exhausted me. All right, so tell us how many reps, how many sets?
Well, that one's got to be high rep. That's at least 15 to 20 for maybe 3-4 working sets.
Okay, all right. Wow, that's a good exercise. And tricep?
Ooh, tricep. At the moment, and something that I program for a lot of my clients that I really, really love is like a dual pulley cable, and you sort of cross the cables over and you do a tricep extension. So it's a cross-body tricep cable extension.
Wow. And sets, reps?
Again, that one probably the same as biceps. It'd be 3 to 4 sets, maybe 15 to 20 reps per set.
Okay. Before we get down to those legs, abs. What do you do for abs?
Abs. So I think there's a big misconception that you need to train your abs like a lot and with lots of random stuff. There's literally only 2 variations that I'll generally program. So I'll train abs typically twice a week.
Right.
One will be like a crunch variation. So the one that I'm using at the moment is like a kneeling rope cable crunch. 2 to 3 sets, maybe 15, 20 reps per set. And then the second variation later in the week would be like a leg raise variation. So this program I'm doing like a decline bench leg raise.
And you also give us sets and reps on that one?
Yeah, so same thing. Like it would generally be 3 to 4 sets, 15 to 20 reps, really burn it out.
Okay. All right, let's go with it. Okay, so quads. And I'm gonna throw the teardrop in as well. So I want 2, but what's your favorite quad exercise?
Well, you mentioned this before we started chatting, but it has to be the hack squat.
Yeah. I noticed you love the hack squat. That was actually Dorian Yates' favorite too, you know.
It's the best. Well, I mean, from a stimulus standpoint and from a safety standpoint, it's one of those exercises you can just load up. You're super safe with it, and you can just rep it out.
Yeah, no, it's true. So will I say that you don't? I've watched your videos. I've gone through it a bit. You don't really squat, do you? You don't really do squats.
My leg development skyrocketed when I stopped squatting and deadlifting. Like, super controversial, I know.
Wow. No, I know, man. So I wonder. Like we could be so stubborn when we train if you're not going to be a little bit versatile and change a little bit. I think it's our bodies. We tend to believe these 3 sets of 10 and you just do this and you just do that. So, all right. So you do hack squat. How many sets, reps?
So again, like, I really love the top set back off with that one. So I'll do generally 2 heavy working sets, like 6 to 10. And then I'll have that back off set, which will be like a, all out 10 to 15 as close to fail as I can without, getting hurt.
Wow. Well, you look
Like you're in pain sometimes when I watch you do it anyway. What about that teardrop? How do we talk about? I haven't asked anyone. You're the first I've asked about the teardrop. What's a good exercise for a teardrop?
So generally speaking, training the VMO is within that last couple of degrees of knee extension.
Yeah.
So for me, like, super simple leg extensions, man. Like, high rep leg extensions.
High rep.
rep,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
how
how
many?
many?
Talk.
Whoa. I have been known to give some of my clients like 20 to 30, 30 to 40.
Oh God, we're going to get again. More people are going to be questioning this one. Okay, how many sets?
I'm going to go really high rep on that. It's probably 1 to 2 sets, maybe.
Oh,
right.
right. 2. That's cool.
Like,
Okay.
at the moment, I'm doing 1 set of leg extensions to fail, and that's it.
What am I training tonight? I'm training hammies. Oh, that's the next question. That's my training tonight. Hammies. What do you do for hammies?
Much like the chest, I'll divvy up the hamstrings into different exercise patterns. So typically like a hip hinge, which we said the RDL, the stiff leg deadlift.
Yeah.
And then I'll go into some knee flexion exercises. So again, in my program now, I've got heavy lying leg curl, 4 working sets, like 8 to 10.
Yep.
And then I've got seated leg curl, 4 working sets, 10 to 15.
Wow. Okay. I'll do that. I'll hit them tonight. What about the good old gluteus maximus, the ass?
For me personally, like, my glutes get trained a lot with the RDLs, with the back extensions, with the deep squats and stuff like that. So no real isolation for the glutes per se currently. But generally, man, like any hip thrust variation. So like a lot of gyms don't have it, but they'll have like a plate loaded hip thrust machine all day, because you can load it up. There's no issues with like instability, and you can just literally rep out and fire your glutes.
All right. How many sets, reps on that one?
For that one, again, I'd probably move more towards the top set, back off set. So, maybe two to 3 sets of heavy in the 6 to 10, and then maybe a couple of back off sets, maybe 12 to 20.
Okay. And let's go down to the stubborn calves.
Stubborn calves. I call bullshit on that.
All right. Hey, you know what? It is bullshit because I can't. I actually think my calves have grown by not training them so hard for some reason. Honestly, my calves have grown. I feel they're more relaxed and they're grown.
I call bullshit on anyone that says like growing calves is hard, because when we dissect their program, when we look at what they do, even if they trained everything else really perfectly with a structured program, they progressively overload, good technique, and then they train calves and they try and do all this random shit, high rep, drop set, superset, this, that, and they're not progressing in load, they're not having any structure with their training, and they wonder why their calves don't grow. It's like, it's the same as any muscle group. You just need to do the same shit.
Don't we? We ignore it. We take it for granted. So what is a good exercise? Give us a good one.
Well, literally, like you've got kind of 2 divisions, right? So you've got the gastroc, which you train with a straight leg.
Yep.
Yep.
So any standing calf raise, any like leg press with your knees locked out.
Yep.
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 And then a bent knee variation, so you're training the soleus, that seated bent knee calf raise.
Okay. And how many sets, reps?
I like calves in that, 10 to 15 rep range.
Okay. Okay. And sets?
Calves could take a beating, so maybe for me it would be 3 to 4 work sets, like twice.
Oh, wow. Okay. 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 Only because it was once mentioned a long time ago with John. Tibialis. Do you train that?
I don't, but if I had the opportunity to, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you? What's the opportunity? What's taking you away from your tibia? Why are you ignoring your tibialis, mate?
Well, if you've ever seen a tibialis raise machine
No.
or implement, no one has one.
I guess it's a movement you're going to have to create yourself.
It's awkward to do if you don't. So basically, the apparatus, it's like a little wedge. You stick your feet in, you put little plates on the side, and you just lift your toes up.
Yeah.
So to try and replicate that, like in a gym, is so awkward. You have to like hold a dumbbell between your feet. It's just really fucking hard.
Oh, well, okay. So I guess we don't really have an exercise for that.
Unless you have that machine, then go hard.
Go on. All right. Well, you know what? I haven't asked anyone this one, so I'm going to go with it. Do you train forearms or you just let them go like traps?
Yeah, again, like just doing so much. Like I train back/hamstrings twice a week, so it's like I get so much indirect forearm work from rows, from chin ups, from deadlifts, from all those movements that no real need.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Well, you've answered. I mean, we're coming now to the end, so this is, I guess, kind of a goodbye. But first, before we do that, tell us where the Muscle Talk fans, the family, anyone new watching, the Kyle Raggio fans and family, where can they find you? Web, socials, in the flesh. Tell us it all. Give us everything.
Everything, so all the stalkers can come find me.
And also, what you're offering. Go on, this is your moment, mate.
Done. So
Only for one condition, though. You tell us something that no one else knows at the end of it. But go ahead. Go.
So social media, just literally at Kyle Raggio. So Kyle, KYLRAGGIO on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, I think as well. My website, krperformance.com.au. So through there, like online coaching, programming, we've got some, like I said, some cool new programs coming out. We've got a seminar hopefully coming up in the next couple of months. So all the info is usually across all my socials, across my website.
Tell us about this seminar. What do you mean this seminar? What's this seminar?
So it's going to be basically, I won't give away too much because
That's
someone might steal the name and steal.
No. Don't give us the name. Don't. No.
But basically what I wanted to do, and I feel it's not done anymore or done really well since the rise of like online coaching and online fitness. I did a week-long training camp with Milo Sarcev in 2016, I think.
Yeah.
It was the coolest fucking thing I've ever done. We just got to train. We did 2 training sessions a day. We did a theory workshop in the middle. We talked shit. We hung out. Like, you made friends, and that just doesn't exist anymore with the rise of like Instagram, social media, online fitness. So
Yeah.
I want to start running these things again, where it's like I want to bring together a group of people that want to take their training, take their skill set to the next level, put them through hell, put them through crazy training sessions, give them all the tools, the knowledge, the skills that I have to be able to level up their own training or to level up their own PT business or coaching business, in an environment that's constructive and fun.
How long
would that go for?
So the one we're planning is probably going to be like a half day. So depending on timing and stuff like that, it's going to be a Saturday or a Sunday for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and try and condense it, see if we can get it done in a structured way that people get some value from.
maybe you could invite us. We can come along with a microphone and Chris, and we take a lot of photos and stick our microphone in everyone's faces. Maybe I can be that. Yeah, that would be great. Well, let us know if you'd like it. We'd love to bring Muscle Talks up there and just not annoy you, but more or less encourage and maybe get some content out there as well. And whatever it is that we feel it can be a collaboration, a win-win for both. Definitely, if it can work, we'd love to. Fly up and hang out for a couple of hours and just,
I'd love that, man. Like, I think a big part of what I wanted to do with this was to really collaborate with a lot of other brands and other people and kind of just network, to be honest, because no one does it anymore. Everyone's trying to, beat everyone and think they're doing better than everyone. It's like, man, I just want to collaborate and kind of share my passion with as many people as I can.
Yeah, I think, I don't know when you're going to do it, but we're launching a protein
Cool.
label, protein powder, and it's 30 grams of protein.
Yep.
That's why the cap.
Love it.
But our business name is called 3OG.
Love it.
That's and Muscle Talks is a branch of 3OG, but we're doing we're launching a protein powder, protein label called 30 grams, and it's 30 grams of protein. It's really good stuff. So we're obviously everyone says theirs is good, but we're putting, I guess, a lot of time, and we just want, look, as long as it hits the mark, we're not going to have cookies and cream. It's probably just going to be vanilla and a chocolate flavor. We're not here to make, like I have just some really on the mark stuff. We're just going to probably have a bit of a clothing line we're looking at a clothing line. We're announcing a few things, but all of it slow and steady. But most importantly, like I said, if we can come up and be your film crew, I'd be happy to be your film crew up there, like I can be, your host, if you like.
I was literally,
in some ways.
I said that to Gabby. I was like, if we're going to do it, we're doing it properly. We're going to have a film crew there. We're going to get content. Like, it's going to be legit.
Well, Chris is amazing at this, and we take everything seriously. We don't do by halves. And look, there's a saying from Conor McGregor: "We're not here to take part. We're here to take over." So.
I write that quote in my journal every single morning as part of my daily affirmation.
Isn't it funny how the universe works? It's funny. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Cole, it's absolutely been my pleasure. I really feel we've got a superstar here in the making, but also a superstar today. So I'm just letting you know you are a favourite of mine in the bodybuilding world. And when I say I've come only the last few years to the comps, I'd say I've been to some comps in the 90s, and I've only recently in 2020 onwards I've popped in and out. But like I said, you definitely show a good physique to make someone believe you look strong, healthy, solid, and ripped. I think you've got it all going on.
I appreciate it, man. It's all the support is the fuel that keeps me moving forward. So
you're a Steve and Chris favourite. You're not our type though, but you are a favourite. And hey, wait a minute! Just before we go, are you going to share anything that no one else knows? The high heels, stockings.
I'll share it because Gabby knows, obviously, but she's sitting right here. She's got her headphones in. She's not listening. I like to be naked, man.
Oh, you like to be naked,
and she gets angry at me all the time. Like we've got a beautiful.
Hey, I can resonate with that. I can resonate with that. Go ahead. Yeah, let's talk about naked. Well, what is it? It's great. It's a great feeling, isn't it?
We've got a beautiful ground floor apartment here that literally faces out to the street, and I'm always naked, curtains open, doors open. She's like, "What are you doing? Shut the curtains."
Oh, mate, no, I get it, mate. I live in a suburb that I've got the worst house in the best street, and all the houses around me are huge. And I walk out the back feeding my dogs naked. I go out there, I'm bending over and I'm putting the dry food down, and I'm throwing bones for it. I've got a Staffy, a Poodle, and a Mini Fox Terrier, right? And they're all outside jumping. I'm naked as... I even go out and drink coffee naked in the backyard.
Bro, it's fun. I go out in the morning. She's like, "Can you grab the washing off the line?" I'm like, "Yeah." I walk out. She's like, "What are you doing? There's people." I'm like, "What are you gonna see?"
I've got out. I've done a quick run to the bin outside naked and come back in. Like I'm looking around, going, "God, I can't be bothered getting dressed."
If you don't like it, don't.
Hey, that's a good share. Oh, that's a really good share. Well, Cole, I'm sure we'll be talking more behind the scenes. Like I said, this conferencing you're wanting to put together sounds definitely up our alley to help build our own profile, but also help build someone else's. You'd have our services for free, like I said, if you want to use them to help you out. Like I said, and by all means, reach out to us whenever you like, and as well, let's talk to you again, maybe post.
Hey, well,
Pro-
I'd love
pro
to have
card,
you guys
post
up
pro
here
card.
for nationals, man. Come up and be part of the.
Oh yeah, we'll come up. Yeah, if the nationals are up there, no, you'll see us at the comps. You'll see us.
Well, I want
You'll
you.
see
I
us.
want
We
you
don't
on
have
my team. That's we're making that
Oh,
happen.
well, that's good because, we're in because we don't know if anyone's going to talk to us. But anyway, if we're with you, maybe they'll talk to us.
Exactly.
As long as you're all right. Maybe. All right. Well, hey, you know what? We're there.
Done.
All right, let's talk.
Done.
We're there. We like team. We like the word team. So,
Done.
all right. So I'll leave everyone with a good ethos quote that I use for my coffee business, but we're using it here as well. It's a South African word, or not South African, an African word called Ubuntu. Have you heard of the word Ubuntu?
No.
All right, Google it when I finish here. Google Ubuntu, and the funny thing is, Tom Cruise mentioned it in a speech, and he has an American accent called it. We call it Ubuntu. He called it Ubuntu, but Ubuntu means not me, we.
Yeah.
Everything you do is not because of me; it's because of us,
Love it.
and that's Ubuntu. So have a look it up, Ubuntu.
That's going to be the name of my new coaching community now.
Maybe. All right, mate. Thank you so much.
Dan, thanks for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, likewise, mate. You've been a gem. Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you get that pro card.
Yes. Me too.
All right, cheers.
Thanks, guys.